Are you trying to buy a home and spend as little out of pocket during that home buying process as possible? Maybe you're looking to get a new construction one like the one I'm in now. Good news is I'm gonna give you my top 5 things you can do to make that happen and to keep that hard-earned money in your pocket. Number 1 is to utilize a loan program with low to zero requirement for a down payment. And they do exist, and they're not fake or shams or anything like that. Some of the popular ones are going to be your USDA loan. That is a 0% down loan. Second is a VA loan if you do qualify either in the military or previously. That's a great option as well. Or if you want to go with just a low down payment, FHA is a 3.5% down payment, and I do from time to time see some conventional loans that also have low payments as well, usually between 3 to 5%, but that is bank to bank versus FHA, USDA, and VA. Those are federally backed loans where a lot of banks will finance those and they have their own requirements on a federal level versus some of those conventional loans where the bank may not have it, but the bank down the street may offer one. Number 2 is asking the seller to cover your closing costs. And what are closing costs exactly? Well, there are fees associated with the home buying process. So think your mortgage fees, your lawyer fees, inspections, appraisals, all that fun stuff just wrapped up into that term. You can request for the seller to cover that. Now, if you're in a hyper-competitive market or you're looking at a house that's hyper-competitive for whatever reason, that may not be doable, and you may end up having to look at a different other house and put an offer in on that one, or look into a different market altogether in order for that to happen. So don't think of it almost as a guarantee. It is something you gotta work for. Typically, at least in my market here in Delaware, if I have a client wanting to do that and they're not in a hyper-competitive market, usually we can make it happen within the second to third offer we put in. But if you are hyper-competitive, it is one of those things you may end up having to look elsewhere, which is why working with a realtor you trust can explain that to you so you understand what that looks like in your market. And sometimes the market itself, the area, may not be the problem. It just may be the style of house in of itself. So again, reach out to the trusted realtor so they can help guide you through that process. Number 3, if the loan you are getting to finance your house does require a down payment, you can go and either reach out to a state organization or another type of grant organization to have them cover that for you. Here in my state of Delaware, our state organization, DSHA, the Delaware State Housing Authority, offers several types of grants to assist with down payment, which is super awesome. It can also be utilized for closing costs if the seller is unwilling to cover that for you. Each grant has different requirements. Some are forgivable, some are not, but you need to go out and see what options you have. Again, here in Delaware, we have several programs, but from time to time, there are other programs available either on a federal level or on a private level with some banks or organizations. Again, reach out to the trusted local realtor in order to help guide you in your local market so you know what's available to you. Number 4 is have a low good faith deposit. Now, what is a good faith deposit? Well, it happens when you and the seller officially go on a contract, so everything's signed, and it essentially shows to the seller you're serious, right? You're a real person gonna buy this house, not just somebody pulling their leg out and gonna back out 5 days later. How does that work? Well, that good faith deposit can be used as part of your down payment or closing costs at settlement. However, if you decide to back out a contract for anything or any reason not allowed inside that specific contract, things like appraisal contingencies or inspections, those will typically cover you. But for any other reason, like, I don't know, I just don't like the vibe of the house anymore, that seller would then get to keep that good faith deposit because at that point, you broke contract. So again, it shows seriousness to the seller that you're ready to move forward and buy that house, and also keeps you a little bit committed into the home buying process outside of a contingency causing some craziness. And number 5, if you end up getting an inspection on the house, and on that inspections, at least here in Delaware, there are things listed as major defects. You have that ability to go and ask for that seller to fix those things or get a credit back. I've met some buyers where they said, no, Austin, I don't want to ask the seller to do that. I don't want to be an inconvenience. Well, you're buying a house. Be an inconvenience, because typically those items listed as majors, again, majors, not minor or cosmetic, but majors are issues you would end up needing to get resolved in that house in the first couple months of ownership in order for you to potentially just live in the house, right? Making sure the heater is functional, there's no holes in the roof, to it even being livable. Because sometimes majors can be things like the door just won't open. That's an issue. So put that responsibility on the seller, because at least here in Delaware, contractually, that is something you can do, so you can save yourself money when you're going in and living in the home for the first couple months, because there's a lot of expenses with moving. So don't give yourself a couple extra just because you're trying to be a nice guy. And there you go, my top 5 things you can do to keep that hard-earned money in your pocket instead of giving it to somebody else. There is a bonus tip though. It's a little cliche, but honestly, it's the real deal. You need to work with a local realtor who can assist you with these things. Because I know for some of you guys watching, this is brand new information. And in your individual market, like here in Delaware, there's some other cool specific things we can do to keep money in your pocket so you can keep it and not give it to somebody else. But you don't know that if you aren't partnered with somebody to help guide you through that process. If you live in Delaware, you want to live in Delaware, me and my team would be more than happy to serve you. All contact information is below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, that notification bell, and that subscribe button in order to get notified when this stuff is happening and you get to see new awesome videos like this. With that in mind, hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.